go do this. Yep, it's time to do this. Oh, hey guys. So, sun's going down and, you know, it is January, but kind of felt like spring a little bit today. I'm going to put on my trusty shop rag, keep warm. So here's the deal. In this episode, we're going to try to get all this stuff cleared off the car, get it all cleaned out, and start trying to understand what it is we're going to do to make this car ready for No Name Nationals 23. We've talked about pulling the suspension out of it, putting the 2005 Suburban suspension in it, not the whole frame, just the suspension. We're also going to grab the transmission and transfer case out of there, the rear end, the front axle and CV shafts. It's going to give us a little bit of room on each end, but you know, it's just going to be a wide track, which Pontiac's famous for. So let's get this cleared off and, you know, start figuring out what we have to work with. Well, first things always being first, we need to clean this off. If you guys don't recognize this, this is actually the 63's hood that we really need to put back on the car. But we're going to clear all this off and move this hood. Maybe we'll put that on in another video. Get all the rest of this cleared off. I gotta gut the inside out because it is literally just storage. All of the interior is over there in that pile. So let's get all this cleaned off and see what we got. Okay, so on the back side, we can't just put a you know, little wheelie thing underneath there because there's no rear axle. And if you remember, we borrowed this to put it in the 63 Grand Prix just to get it to No Name Nationals because our original rear end for the Grand Prix was locked up. All the bearings were seized. I couldn't get the parts and get it, you know, completely rebuilt in time for No Name. So we knew this rear end worked. We made sure it had a little bit of fluid in it. Yanked it out, put it in the 63 Grand Prix. We made it go up and down on air ride, and, you know, we were successful in at least getting it to No Name and getting it to do the victory laps. It didn't race, but that's okay. We'll figure it out for this year. Now, in the meantime, no rear end means no wheelie carts there. So we're going to still use the wheelie carts, but we're going to put them underneath this, unibody frame area just to kind of support the car, keep it up off the ground, and allow us to move it out. We've got to clean out all around it, clean out underneath of it, and then we need to start stripping out these parts so that we can put our new parts in, start mocking everything up, and, putting everything in place. Right, so I'm going to get under here, see what I've got to put this little cart underneath, and see if we can't pull this car out. All right, we got it somewhat cleared out. Here's what I was talking about. There's some damage up front, and of course, this is part of the suspension that holds the rear axle in place. And well, as you can see, I didn't do this. It may or may not have been jumped. So that's no good. Let's see if we can move it. Stuff's gonna fall, but that's okay. All right. Moved out a little bit. It really did become a place to stack stuff, and stuff like this found its way inside. But we're gonna get it all cleaned out, get the dust off of it, and kind of show you what we're working with here. Yeah, that's still good. They say it's not hoarding if your junk is cool. So this has been sitting in my garage for almost 5 years, 4 years at least. And took it all apart, kind of pulled everything out that we didn't really want to reuse. Pulled the fenders off because, I don't know, just did. But we're keeping those. But a lot of what's under the hood, a lot of it's going to come out. So we're going to pull the front cross member and suspension and all those parts out. And we're going to wheel the Suburban's front axle and CV shafts up underneath. And it has a torsion bar front suspension. So we're going to see if we can't get that mocked in and make it fit somehow. And if we can, we'll just bolt it and weld it into place and call it good. But I don't know. Let's see what we got. So bringing you guys in a little closer, you can see the magic of these third-gen Trans Ams and Camaros. Firebird, sorry. The magic of the Firebird is this kind of unibody style frame, this strut and spring suspension. So this is the top side of the struts on each side. You could strengthen these cars up by putting a support bar across the two, which would then kind of tighten up the front end. You got a nice beefy sway bar under the front. And you drop a 305 in here, and those were kind of puny, but they did the job. Put a 350 in with a cam and maybe a little bit of extra oomph, and this car would haul pretty good. Pretty strong structurally, but for what we're going to do, we're going to need to stiffen it up a bit. So that is the plan. We did start gutting off the firewall and taking out all the broken bits and parts that we're just not going to use. At this point, I really want to say we may eventually make it into a driver. But for this particular event, our goal is kind of like the Pontiac Grand Prix we built, the 63. Let's get it running and driving and hopefully racing at No Name Nationals. So, kind of see what we need. I'm going to finish clearing this out and then I'll come right back. Mint. Surely these will pass tech at No Name Nationals, right? All right, so we're getting really dirty really fast, but I think you can kind of get an idea of what I'm thinking. I've had a lot of people ask me, how are you gonna do it? Well, I think it's pretty easy. We're gonna pull this front wheel off. It's got a strut that supports the upper part of the suspension, and it's got an A-arm on the bottom that supports the spring on the bottom, and that's connected with the ball joints. And then it's got just a regular coil spring mounted up in between that this front subframe and that bottom control arm, and then the strut basically is supported at the top and triangulates everything, and you get, you know, pretty good handling out of this car. And we're going to ruin that completely by ripping it all out, cutting things open. Everything's going to be, you know, stiffened back up, probably better than it was, but we got to make room for that four-wheel drive system. And to do that, we're going to try to keep it right in the same, you know, ballpark where we're at here. But Chevrolet Suburbans, GMT 800s in general, they all have the same type of setup in the front. And for that, we're going to, you know, get it kind of right to left centered. Make sure it looks like it aligns perfect. Cut open where we need to cut open, and strategically put it in place, you know, kind of glue and screw it into place. You know, welders and big bolts and, you know, good stuff. It's gonna hold. And yes, that's gonna push our wheels out just a bit, but I think I have an idea for that. I mean, just kind of imagine, if you will, maybe moving this out just a hair. We'll figure it out. But I think you're getting the idea. Maybe a little homemade wide body kit. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll, you know, put it all together and see what you guys think. And honestly, if it covers enough, we'll just run it like it is. But we need to get these wheels off, get the suspension off of it, figure out a way that we can keep this car mobile, even without a suspension under it. I think we're going to have to build kind of a, you know, like a wooden trolley or something put under the body of the car. And until we get that other front suspension under here, I don't want to keep the car tucked into a corner so we can get around and work on it. But I also don't want it to be immovable where it's at. So I think we're going to build a wooden trolley, and I'll save that for another video. All right, so until we get to the trolley building, you guys are getting an idea of what the car is going to look like. I got this fender, the other fender's on there. It's going to have the typical Trans Am style nose and maybe a little, you know, fun stuff to kind of pay tribute to its movie and TV show history. But in the meantime, we're going to kind of clean this up. I probably won't do that on video, but I will build a trolley for it and hit up Harbor Freight, get some trolley style wheels, throw underneath this thing, maybe some wood or metal, get it up under the car, put the car so it can move around. We could still get underneath of it. And once it's movable, then we'll get the Suburban in here and get it taken apart. But that's all for another video. Thank you guys for watching Buff's Garage. I just got a new order of hats in, so if you go to my website, buffsgarage.com, you can order your new hat. The price went up just a touch, but with inflation, I had to do it. But every order over $50 gets free shipping. So get you a t-shirt. You can't get a BTP shop rag, but you can get a Buff's Garage shirt. You can get a Buff's Garage hat, keychain, sticker. It all goes into helping me get this car going. And right now, I need your help more than ever. So thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the super thanks. And thanks for being a member of the Tappy Tap Club. Again, all of that comes right back here. Thank you for watching Buff's Garage. We'll see you on the next one. Let's see what's in the box. Fresh off, and these are embroidered versus the old ones that were screen printed. These are actually embroidered, so these are nice.